Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Powell and Mnuchin expected to promote stimulus in Congress. Analysis http ntvforex.com News ID 928D4C 9/22/2022 30:58 a.m. Fed Chairman Powell and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin to appear in House and Senate. Additional pandemic stimulus has been stalled in Congress for more than a month. White House has urged compromise between Democratic and Republican proposals. Fading stimulus expectation is one factor behind the equity declines this month. Dollar has edged higher as risk aversion rises without U.S. economic support. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin will be in the unusual position this week of advocating for more stimulus spending before the senators and representatives that have blocked additional relief for more than a month. Tuesday's hearing at the House Financial Services Committee will give the White House and the Fed another chance to convince lawmakers that further fiscal efforts are needed to keep the U.S. recovery on track. NBSP. The double appearance is required by the original relief bill the CARES Act passed in March. Pandemic relief. That $2 trillion pandemic bill NBSP has been instrumental in returning employment and NBSP economic activity from the record 31.8% NBSP drop in annualized GDP the second quarter. NBSP. Its impact is now fading, especially as the additional $600 a week in federal unemployment insurance expired in July. NBSP lawmakers have been deadlocked for weeks over the amount and composition of the fiscal recharge, with Democrats pushing for a $2.2 trillion package with large provisions for local and state budgets, and most Republicans behind a $660 bill, emphasizing incentives for people to return to work. Fed and Treasury advise support. Mr. Powell has maintained from the beginning of the Fed's involvement in early March, when it cut rates, restarted quantitative easing and opened a business loan program, that monetary policy and Fed actions would not be enough to return the economy to full health. NBSP generous spending and support from the government was essential. That message was repeated after last week's FOMC meeting. NBSP. More fiscal support is likely to be needed, he noted. NBSP. The path forward will depend on keeping the virus under control, and on policy actions taken at all levels of government, he said. Secretary Mnuchin, who has been the administration's chief negotiator with the Democratic-controlled House where most of the disagreement lies, also favors more funding for industries like travel, hotels, and restaurants that have had only limited recoveries. Now is not the time to worry about shrinking the deficit, he told CNBC recently. The Republican-controlled Senate is likely to go along with whatever deal is reached between the administration and the Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker. NBSP. President Trump has suggested that the two sides could split the difference in a final arrangement. Powell and Mnuchin will also give CARES Act testimony to the Senate Banking Committee on Thursday, and the chairman NBSP will report to the House Select Subcommittee on the coronavirus crisis on Wednesday. Stimulus and markets. A second stimulus package had been considered a near certainty by the markets and was one of the reasons behind the powerful run higher in equities. From March 23 to September 2, the S&P 500 gained a remarkable 63.7%. NBSP. Even with the 8.5% drop from the peak to Monday's close at 3,281, the average is but 3.3% below its pre-pandemic high of February 19 of 3,393. CNBC. The dollar has seen a modest revival against most majors as worries about the strength of the U.S. economy without stimulus support have weakened equity markets, and rising COVID-19 rates in Europe have brought on a mild case of risk aversion. After briefly crossing January 2000 on September 1, the euro has fallen back to 1.1771 at the close on Monday, at the bottom of its two-month range against the dollar. NBSP. The sterling was also at an 8-week low, while the USD CAD closed above 1.3300 for the first time in 6 weeks. The yes has strengthened, closing at 104.65 on Monday, as its traditional safety role for Asian markets received a small fill-up. Business and government loans. Unemployment. Powell will be questioned on the Fed's $600 loan facility for small and mid-sized business, whose funding was provided by the Treasury but has had only $1.5 billion in loan purchases by the central bank. NBSP. When the program began in March, scarce liquidity was a problem in some credit markets, but availability has long since returned to normal. Loans and support for local and state governments will likely be another topic of contention by questioners. Democrats have advocated direct aid to states and localities, while Republicans have largely opposed the idea, considering it a bailout for badly managed local authorities. NBSP, the central bank's municipal facility, has had only bought 2 loans to date. Unemployment has come down rapidly from Maya's 14.7% high to 8.4% in August. The additional federal unemployment of $600 a week expired in July, and the two parties have been unable to agree on a continuation. NBSP President Trump extended the program at a lower level of benefits by executive order, but the funds for that are running are also. NBSP, the Paycheck Protection Program, which provided money to help small business with, is also finished. NBSP, with many small business still struggling and initial jobless claims still being filed at close to 1 million a week, legislators will want to know what other measures might help alleviate individual difficulties and assist the economy. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors.